So Dana White has just cooked up some really, really banger fights and matchups for the next year. So let's get into them. There's Robert Whittaker versus Paulo Costa, banger fight. Been booked 3 times, hopefully third time's the charm. Because, if Paulo Costa doesn't fight this time, he could get cut. Like, that is a possibility. We have Brian Ortega versus Yair Rodriguez 2 in Mexico City. This will be a 5-round co-main event. To Amir Albazi versus Brendan Moreno, Aaron Blanchfield versus Manon Farot, Yuri Prohaska versus Alexander Rakic for UFC 300, Bo Nickel versus Cody Brundage, and Aljamain Sterling making his featherweight debut against Calvin Kattar. So I do have a few, not complaints, but just like, you would think the former bantamweight champion Aljamain Sterling would get like a bigger fight than Calvin Kattar. Like, the guy was literally champion, but I don't know, some reason, for whatever reason, they've decided to give him the number 7 featherweight, which would be like if Volk, instead of fighting Islam Makhachev, Volk went and fought like fucking Jarlin Turner or Dan Hooker. Like, it's just a random matchup for a former champion to take. And I think it's a bad matchup for Aljamain Sterling. I think Calvin Kattar is going to beat him. I think he's going to box him up. Like, look at it this way. He's never been wrestled. He's never been defeated on the ground. Like, how is Aljamain Sterling going to win this fight? I think he's going to get boxed up. I don't think he's going to get a takedown on Calvin Kattar. Maybe because he's a bantamweight, he's going to be a bit more skilled. But I don't know. I don't like this matchup for... Sorry, I'm not used to the whole video thing, so sorry if I'm like fidgeting a little bit. But yeah, I don't like this matchup for Calvin Kattar. I think I don't like this matchup for Aljamain Sterling. Sorry, I think Calvin Kattar will win this one. For the other fights, we have Bo Nickel. Bo Nickel's going to run through Cody Brundage. Like, let's just get that out of the way. That is a complete mismatch. I know he's on a bit of a win streak now, but one of them's not a no contest. One of them's a DQ win over Jacob Malkoon. Yuri Prohaska versus Alexander Rakic. I think Rakic is going to win this fight. I'm excited. Rakic is my dark horse to become champion. I think if there's ever going to be a long reigning light heavyweight champion, Alexander Rakic might be the one to break out, because, the light heavyweight championship's being passed around more than Ian Gary's wife lately. Like, literally fucking everybody's had a turn with the light heavyweight belt. Then we have Aaron Blanchfield versus Manon Farot. I think Blanchfield can win this with her grappling. Ortega Rodriguez too. I think Yair Rodriguez is going to win this fight again. And I think he's going to get it done pretty easily. He was piecing up Brian Ortega before he had the weird little submission sequence. And with this fight, I think he's sort of just going to piece him up again. Ortega's probably going to come back. He's going to look a bit like Colby Covington. Not fight-wise. I just mean he's taken a long layoff, been injured. He tore his shoulder. I think he's going to come back looking really washed. He's going to look really, like, I don't know. He's not going to remember how to fight, pretty much. Like, I don't literally think that, but I think he's going to come back less athletic, than normal. Yeah, I don't like it for Brian Ortega, and it's a bit of a weird matchup to make, if we're being honest, because, like, out of all the fights, there's plenty of fresh matchups they could do. Why is Brian Ortega fighting up after not fighting or getting a win for 3 years? Like, this guy's got the biggest case of Dana White privilege I've ever seen, but, fucking just seems to work out for Brian Ortega. Robert Whittaker versus Costa is an interesting fight. It's been booked 3 times. I hope they have like Brendan Allen or someone like just weighing in as a backup, because you can never trust Paulo Costa in these situations. Like, the guy is just a constant pull-out merchant. I love Paulo Costa, but he's so untrustworthy if he's going to show up to a fight or not. So I do worry about if this matchup actually happens or not. But if this fight does happen, I'm going to go with Robert Whittaker. I think he can sort of just piece him up, get a decision. Obviously, he's coming off a KO to Dricus du Plessis. But the thing about Paulo Costa, his power is very overrated. He doesn't have one-punch KO. He's a volume guy. Like, people see, this big fucking guy like Paulo Costa, like fucking moving around, big muscles and everything, and they think this guy's just a fucking one-punch guy. But if you actually watch him, he is a fucking boom, boom, boom. He's hitting to the body. It's all combos. He lands about no 20 shots before he gets a finish. He's just constantly putting on the pressure, beating people up against the fence. We never see him actually go in there and one punch someone. Even when he gets big, head kicks on people, he's still not knocking anyone out. It's generally a weird thing with Paulo Costa fights. For a guy as big and muscular as him, he really doesn't. He actually borderline has pillow hands. I know Robert Whittaker's chin's not the best, and he's not also the most powerful guy either. But I do think this is a matchup he can go in there and win. So I'm going to be taking Robert Whittaker. I think I gave all my predictions for these fights. But UFC 300 is looking good. I've seen people already shitting on the card. These might be prelim fights for all we know. These could be the early prelim fights. Like Dana said that we won't believe what the prelim fight is. Dana White, if you're watching this fucking video, do not put Cody Brundage on the fucking main card because that will instantly kill any hype there is for UFC 300, okay? Just don't do that, please. For the love of God, no Bo Nickel versus Cody Brundage on the main card. It's UFC 300. We don't need Cody Brundage on there. All respect to him, technically. Also, very shameful from Dana White. He mentioned that Cody Brundage is coming off 4 back-to-back first round stoppages. One of them was a fucking DQ win to Jacob Malkoun. That is so embarrassing of Dana White to do. Like, that is shameful behavior from Dana White. Like, that's just genuinely fucking shameful. But I gotta respect. I respect the hustle. But yeah, some good fights. Rakic versus Yuri. Aljamain Sterling versus Calvin Kattar. And Cody Brundage versus Nichols. So some really good fights so far for UFC 300. I reckon Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler will main event that card, but we'll see what happens. And I think also Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway is going to be on there. I have a weird feeling because like Aljamain Sterling, Max Holloway was right there. So I feel like that's going to be the fight they do, or at least try and do. But anyway, that's all I've got to say about these fight matchups. These are fucking banger matchups. And also, I hope you guys like this new setup. It's a bit hard getting used to. I'm a bit jittery just because it's a bit weird to like be talking into a camera like this. Obviously, it's a bit of a new thing to me. So sorry. Just getting used to the camera a little bit here. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers. Let me know if you want me to go back to the old setup. But if not, I'll keep going with this. But anyway, thank you guys. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.